Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to sample that, bring it to the lab, see what kind of concentration that's at the flow, or in the building, and send that in, like, so figure out what that. Test that.
Jim was.
Jim's sitting here. There's a spot next to Lisa.
Yeah, that.
Mary, there's a spot next to her.
And to me, that.
No, Dan's sitting, they're not together.
Call this meeting order, Stuart City Council, 10/13/2024. Call order. Patrick.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Morgan. Here. Dolly.
Here.
Kava.
Here.
Agenda approval, consent agenda approval of minutes of 4/8/2024. Approval of financial statements as of 4/30/2024. Approval of bills as presented. Approval of liquor license Doe Dealer. Approval of liquor license Ruby's Unlimited.
So, go ahead. I'll move.
Moved by Calva,
I'll second.
second by Patrick. How do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Calva.
Yes.
Okay, number 4, town cleanup, Bob Cook.
First, I'd like to thank the council for allowing us to continue this town cleanup. This is the 6th in what I call the modern era. It was very successful. And I have to point out tonight, the main reason it's successful is because of Molly Dolce and the FFA people joined in. It's a lot better cleanup with their help. We couldn't do what we do with their. Lots of stuff went out of here. Dick will go over. He gave me a paper with fine print numbers about like that. I can't read them, but it was successful. Again, we took loads of trash, scrap metal, trailer load of appliances, and for the first time, for a fee to compensate what it cost us, and it worked out well. Loaded TVs and computers and stuff. So I would like that we got reviews from people thanking us all over town. Got to meet a lot of the new residents around town and in the new area. That's a positive. They see the town doing this. They see an effort to keep it clean, and they learn about other things when they come and we're able to visit. So I'd like to say, keep in mind to keep this going. We have a cleaner town, and another key point, and I'll get out of here, is that having somebody in town doing the code violations and alerting people that are either in a violation or headed toward one to come to this opportunity. We had a lot of tonnage come from places that need to get rid of it. And it's not everybody, but that made a heck of a difference in working within people in town and getting people that have 21 pickups at residents. A lot of them were big pickups. 2 of them were people in violation that we were able to help out and get them back in compliance. So thank you, and hope we continue.
Thank you. I'll just add some of the figures here. We had 4.26 ton of scrap come in that we took to Clayton, so we get paid back for that. There was 185 pounds of battery. The tonnage was 15.27 tons of garbage that went out there. Every kids lifted a lot of junk that weekend. I thank them. Okay, 5. Request to close street. Audrey?
Can I have Jeff Leonard speak for me?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good evening. Well, I'd like to start by thanking you guys for allowing us to continue the conversation about closing the street there in front of Johnny's for my wife and mine's anniversary party on July 20th. I believe in your package you should have all the same information I have, the road closure form that is signed by both Chief Reha and by Jim Henderson. Then also the map of where it's going to be, along with Audrey's kind of letter that she read for the first meeting. I do want to talk about the road closure form a little bit. Mike was up, I believe, a week or 2 ago, and we kind of talked about the time slot. We could move that closure to probably about 3 to 4 o'clock, and then look at cleaning up kind of right afterwards, and then trying to open it back up. The issue is going to be maybe the semi-trailer, trying to see how we could get that pulled out at that time of night. So there is some leeway in the time that we could have to close that off. I kind of watched some of the minutes from last time, and one of the concerns was maybe making a precedence about closing off the street. There's been a few parties or events that I've been to that the street has been blocked off of. One would be Gain Street. There's always a block party every year down there that the street gets closed off for. This was back August of 2018, but North Sherman was closed down for a wedding and a band on that street as well. Every year down by the elementary school, they have a Cyhawk party. That street is closed down for that party as well. Then there was also a class party a few years ago for a class of 1978 where the same area was closed off where we want to close off our party for. So just a few things. And then also, I believe by the Pocket Park around COVID time, it was blocked off for, I believe it was prom or dance for the school, I believe, around that time frame. I don't know the exact time that it was closed down, but I do believe it was closed down for that as well. We did, again, talk to Chief Reha, and he said he has no concerns about closing that down. So I did pull up and did find City Code Ordinance 120.6 that talks about outdoor surface areas. I guess I would maybe consider this kind of a beer garden situation where kind of in a nutshell, it basically says that as long as Chief Reha inspects it and signs off on it, that it should not be a problem. So that's just another thing that I also found to kind of bring this to everyone's enlightenment.
I definitely appreciate you coming up and speaking. I know talking to Audrey, it's probably one of your biggest fears is getting up and doing public speaking, and I appreciate you standing for it. I know in our discussion, when I came up and I was looking around, you know that you had looked into some alternatives, out and out back. I think you visited with the store next to you, and they didn't want to do anything for liability reasons. That's totally understandable. And we discussed the whole precedent thing, and using precedent as a reason to do something again isn't really a good reason a lot of times. It kind of gives you a little guidance. Hey, we did it here, we did it here, we did it here. Some of those street closures were not on the main street. Of course, they weren't going to affect other businesses. But then what do you do? How do you weigh it? Do you tell a local business owner who's been in business for years, no, because you have one objection? Or do you say yes, and are you saying to a new business owner that your voice doesn't matter? So how do you weigh that? And just looking at the form, I can tell you, I went out and I don't have them with me. I forgot them at home, but if you go out and look at like Adele's form for their street closures, it is so much more than this. They have to have to sign a hold harmless agreement. There's a whole slew of things that they have to do. I think Lenore's the same way. It's a lot more detailed on there. I thought there was some guidance on the form and stuff, more than what we have, but I know we talked at length, and to see what we come up with, and I'm glad you got the form signed. That's very important to show that, we got support there. That's that. So that's all I got. I don't know.
Didn't we have a form that had all the businesses, right?
Yes.
It was kind of a courtesy thing to expedite the process, right?
See, that's what I thought too. I thought we had something like that. And we had said, I thought we were going like on a percentage basis. I don't know. I looked at the minutes. I'll be honest, I can't remember because I looked at them earlier and I can't remember what they said, but I think Sarah got that to me at the time. But I don't know. That's what. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, when we talked about that as well, we did all agree that as long as the chief signed off on it and the public works director signed, that was just kind of the end all be all type deal. So we just kind of leave it up to those two guys to handle that, I guess, that's the way I see it, but.
And also, I think you said we talked about moving the starting,
Yep.
the road closure
Yep.
from 1 to like 4.
Yeah, 3/4 somewhere in that
You know,
timeframe, we have no problem doing that.
which I think, cuts down on, it cuts down on the parking, not being any parking out there, and of course, just so everybody knows, the sidewalk's gonna be open. It's a private public event. It's for private people, but it's open to anybody that wants to come.
And I have no problem if council wants me to, I can put an ad in the paper a month before, kind of saying, my wife and my 30th anniversary party, and open it to the public, say, everybody's welcome to come, there's no
Live band.
live band, there's no fees to come, just come have a good time,
Right,
enjoy the band.
right.
You need a motion
Yeah,
on
I was
this?
gonna- that's just what I was gonna say. I have no problem that I make a motion that we go ahead and approve that street closure.
Jim or, I don't know if Dave's here, you guys don't have any issues at all, or?
No, I talked
I
I
know you
talked
signed
to
off
Audrey.
on it, but.
Moved in second, so how do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Cobble.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 6, Stuart Fire Department, Chief Renzo.
All right, first off, the new truck that we're building through towing, I believe you guys have pictures within that. Those are the most up-to-date pictures. John, our salesperson, told me that truck's slated to be done the first week of June as of right now. So hopefully we have for good egg days. I think that'd be real nice. Second truck issue, I've been in talks with Ash. Our pickup that carries our ultra high pressure system and also pulls our UTV is down and out. That truck's probably never going to see service within our town again. I'm pretty sure I told you guys the truck's worth about $6,500. I think it's going to be just shy of $3,000 to fix it, and that's if nothing else is wrong. It's a 2003, so you're looking 21 years old. And so I was talking to Ash about updating that truck. We did find one at Carl's. And what we'd like to do, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this too, Ash, but I'd like to take $50,000 out of our savings and go ahead and move forward with that pickup. Get the paperwork signed. They're okay if we have to wait a little bit to pay the bill, but they just want something in writing so we can keep that process moving forward.
Yes, if it's okay with the council, can I use the reserve?
So when they say savings, is that out of the billing that
No.
the department does?
Well, the billing kind of goes within that. So all of
We
our,
have two saving account, one for hotel and hotel tax,
Okay.
and that's designed for that stuff.
Okay,
And the other one is a general one. So they have two, we're probably gonna split it. between two.
What are we looking at for like a grand total?
so anything over and above agreed to pay for. So out of our saving would be no more than 50,000. My guess, just kind of off the top of my head, Corey, would probably be around that $57,000 range. Who's to say what we're going to? I did apply for a couple like smaller grants to apply towards this. I don't know if I'm going to get them or not, but pulling that UTV with private vehicles, I mean, is probably, we're gonna do it if we have to in a pinch, right? But probably not
bigger liability than.
not a common practice we
$57,000.
wanna do. So I do have a picture of the, and if you guys wanna look at it, like to get the ball rolling, get papers signed tomorrow actually is what I'd like to do, but. Doesn't,
1-ton truck?
yes, 1-ton diesel.
What, is there any accessories that you're needing? Or is this just you take the skid out and put it in and?
So we're gonna have to put a lighting package on there. The last lighting package we had bid out was around $9,000. I think we can trim some of that. The transfer of the skid unit, the transfer of the radio, the wrap, the grill guard, things like that.
They're selling us that truck for $46,000, so, we'll have about $4,000 out of the money I'm asking to use from our reserves to go toward that.
So that whole price includes all of that, right? Is that right?
I'd like to stay, no more than that $57,000 range. I mean, if we don't wrap it and we don't do a few other things, right away, then we don't do it, but, like to get the truck going. I know within the last couple months, it has been on a couple house fires. It's really important for us on hay bale fires, vehicle fires, stuff like that. So.
And just so you know, it's not a traditional like skid like our grass rigs. It's an ultra high pressure, and it's designed for fast knockdowns of fires. It's designed, that truck was designed and meant to be a first out to get water on fire, because that's what it does.
So it's kind of a pressure washer on steroids. We're putting out 18 gallons a minute at 1,200 PSI.
Yeah.
So with a
If you ever
200 gallon
see it,
tank, you have 10 minutes of continuous water supply. And if you're 10 miles out in the country, 10 minutes will continue water supplies. I mean, you're taking a step up, you're getting the edge there, hopefully, so.
It's okay with the council, so we need a motion to approve buying the new
I agree with
fire
that.
using 50, not to exceed 50,000 from the civil account. Moved by
I'll
Calva,
second
second by
by
James.
Morgan. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. Dolly?
Yes.
Cobble?
Yes.
Okay, the second thing is the list that I received from the fire department. Last year we started that division by asking the council for approval to provide a volunteer fire free pass to the swimmers. I would like to continue that this year.
I want to add one thing, just so you guys know. That's to any fireman that exceeds 50% of events made. So it's just not everyone on the department.
And that's why he gave me that percentage, that
I believe it's 8 or 9 individuals this year.
it's okay with the council, I'd like a motion to approve that.
Moved by Morgan.
Second.
Second by Cobble. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. Dolly?
Yes.
Cobble?
Yes.
Thank you,
Josh,
guys.
one thing,
Thank you.
are you taking the truck down to Warrior's extra place in Ankeny?
Yeah, that's probably where we're gonna end up going, because, so if we have to wait till, I told them we would until after the June council meeting to pay the bill at the earliest, because it had to go through your guys' bill list, right? So within that time, if the paperwork's signed tomorrow, like a promissory note that, hey, we're going to pay for this no later than this date, they will get that truck going. So rather than scheduling in, maybe being out 3 months, so. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, 7, American Legion, Val Piper. Make your way forward.
Okay. Yeah, he got transferred to the county, so.
I'm with the Legion, or American Legion Auxiliary, and we're hoping to do Hockey Day on Saturday morning from 8 to 11. I already got approval from Jim and Jufrida, so I have some information about Hockey Day. It's been going on since 1921, so if anybody wants that, I can pass that up to you. But so if anybody has any questions.
We need a motion. All right, we'll move that. I'll move that.
Moved by Cobble.
Second.
Second by Russell. Russell, okay. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Cobble?
Yes.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good with this?
Need to set
Sure.
it here in case we need it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Stuart Rescue Department, is Sean.
Sean.
Been in talks with Ash in Audubon County. They're gonna have an opening for doing their interfacility transports. These are typically non-emergent. They use somebody else, mostly the helicopter, for their emergency transports. So it'd be something where they would call us, we would get a crew, and we'd send them out there.
really stands to kind of put us in a much better position to increase our department here and then give us some good revenue and funds to account for that. So we're still in talks with them, so not a lot of details, just because I want to make sure we're square with them before we give anything out too much. But just kind of an update there, and talked with Ash a lot about it. We have ensured that the priority would be making sure the city is always covered. We wouldn't send somebody out there to do a transfer and then have to call somebody. I mean, there's always going to be things that happen that there's no way for us to account for, but taking all that into consideration when going through these talks and stuff like that. So.
Is all the equipment gonna be stationed out of Stuart, or are you planning on doing a satellite location?
At this point, it would just be stationed out of Stuart. So it's one of those things where, like, long term, we're not exactly sure how that's going to look. What happens with Guthrie County, and the entire county of Audubon is volunteer. So they might be looking down the same road that Guthrie is now. Which if they have an Audubon County service, then that would obviously be their first pick as well, which makes sense, right? So in 2 or 3 years, this may be something that could be different, and that's in the contract, is that yearly we look at what do each of us need, what's the county, or what does Stuart need, and what does the hospital need, and that includes price. If we get a year into this and we're like, wow, that's just not enough money, or like we didn't do as many transfers or whatever, then we can talk dollar amount too. But yeah, if we get a year in and they're like, no, we went essential and now we're going to have this service starting up, so we're going to taper you guys off and bring these guys in, then moving resources out there would be, I think logistically not something we're going to do right away. So, and there's only 65 transfers that they did in 2023. So you're talking barely one a week, 5.4 a month, I think was the literal average. But, so it's not very labor intensive, but the revenue gives us the chance to have 2 crews on, which really supplements our on-duty crews for here for what turns out to be 6 to 8 hours a week for transfers. You know what I mean? So it's hard to, assuming we can get the right contract and deal with them, it'd be hard to pass that up, and with, yeah, so it's just, at this point, unless,
There's a lot of details.
yeah.
I was gonna say, it's probably-
We're working on it, yeah.
So just a quick thing here. So this is what Honora used to do, right?
Well, currently still doing, but
They
yeah.
are still doing, okay, so,
They canceled their contract, but it's a 90-day
okay, so this,
thing, yeah.
so this would have to be substantially different because they had issues with coverage, right? Because of the transfers, they were taking a lot of resources away. That's the way I understood it. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
Right, as they were, especially when they began this, I don't know, maybe summer or fall of last year, yeah, they would send their only on-duty crew out for 4, 5, 6 hours to run these transfers, and then they're relying on a second out that hadn't been staffed and that kind of stuff. And so we've taken a look at that, because that's obviously that's pushback. This is our priority. Same with, even just the county specific things, right? So, developing a plan to make sure we've covered all of those bases so that we can say, we can send people to do the transfers without, leaving the city uncovered.
And that was another thing. I know at a few of the meetings, the EMS committee meetings, they talked about if that vote was to pass the tax and do that county thing, that transfers would be, nobody would be doing transfers, or again, maybe I misunderstood that. As I suppose as long as you have some sort of a plan, they're going to be okay with it, and that would have to be written into any agreement that we present to them.
Correct.
Is that
So,
right?
yeah, essentially, the county, if that all works out or whatever, is not going to pay us to do transfers
Right.
for Audubon, right? And so, but that's pretty easy to kind of, maybe not easy. Let me back off from that word a little bit, but
you can say, okay, this is the money we spend on transfers and this kind of stuff. And so then the other half of that is that it's also kind of built into the RFP from Guthrie County to say, well, if you're not losing money, we're not going to give you money to provide the service. You know what I mean? So, so that's kind of, I think, one of the ways they're leveling that as far as, you know what I mean? Because it is kind of lucrative, and that's the what's the word? Agencies providing interfacility transfers are the only ones making any money, or even for that matter, because, you know, it's not like we're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars from this. No, it's bringing enough money to offset the cost of the additional crew, which the city benefits from, without, you know, while still providing service for somebody else.
I just want to be sure we weren't getting into a place where if we did this, then the county said, no to you guys, just flat out type thing, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's, you know, that's all part of some of the talks that we've had, you know, and like I said, that's also why every year we take a look at this again and say, you know, hey, 1 year from now, okay, we need to address these things. And they've been very cooperative as far as like, these are our concerns and this is what we can do and how do we manage what you guys need with what we have and that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of ongoing and making sure that we're in the same place and that our expectations are pretty clear. So.
Have you had staff meetings with your staff too, to make sure everybody was on board? And hate to see you take on something, then all your staff, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna spend 8 hours of my day do that. So I was just making sure that your staff is well aware and is on board.
Yeah, I've been kind of, you know, seeding that to some people as far as, you know, obviously can't have a whole lot of conversations about the details with everybody, right? But, you know, we're just kind of saying like, hey, we're considering doing this. And there's always, it doesn't, for mercy, that's the only thing we do is interfacility transports. There's still people who complain about that. So like, at some point, yeah, so there's going to be pushback. They're not the funnest things in the world. I understand that. And, but yeah, if everybody was like, no, we're not going to do this at all. And I think was one of the concerns that Kenora had, was that some people were just like, if you're doing facility transfers, I'm out. But, you know, I think with this, we kind of mitigate that with just how few of those are really doing. So, but yeah, it's been mentioned to most of the staff. You know, some of the ones that aren't there as frequently, obviously, or maybe not have heard about that, but.
Okay.
All right. Okay. True Value Multi Project. At this time, I open the public hearing. Did you receive anything on this?
No.
Any comments, concerns from the general public?
No.
Close the public hearing. B, resolution 2411C, approving the lease of real estate between banks.
By Dolly?
By Morgan. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Cobble?
Yes.
Okay, 2023, 2024 city budget amendment. At this time, open public hearing. Did you receive anything, Ash?
No.
Lisa, any comments, concerns? Lisa?
I just want to make sure that the library's budget increase for revenue and expenditures for the 23-24 fiscal year is amended for the ALA grant of $10,000 and the additional county dollars of $3,718. And I would like to see this be included in tonight's council meeting minutes. Does anyone else want a copy of what I said?
Thank you.
Certainly. Green for the money. At least our money's
Kind
still
of an
green.
off green.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
So, any other comments and concerns? Okay, close the public hearing.
We
You got to talk about this, or-
we do that every year, at the end of the year. Amending the budget is a form of balancing the budget. Throughout the year, we go through stuff, like exactly what she explained. She got a grant, so we include that. In a bigger picture, we got other grant, like Save Out to School. We got grant from utility, we have fund issues. All these will come to the amending budget and include it to balance the budget. That's what we do every year in May.
Okay.
So, need a motion to approve resolution 2413.
Motion, anyone more than?
Second.
Russell, how do you go? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes.
At this time, since we're on the city business, I want to make an announcement that Corey Geisinger put in his resignation. His last day will be May 23rd. And I want to thank him for the last 8 years. He's a tremendous worker, and we'll be putting an ad in the paper.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Marcy.
Okay, 11, Wamble Phase 3 housing. You want to talk, Corey?
So on the agenda is a passment for Macintosh Corporation in the amount of $213,000, and a little bit more. They're about 70% done with the project. The big ticket item is putting down the pavement. As Mother Nature cooperates, they're ready to go on that. And so I would anticipate that hopefully later this week. if the
They've already
weather
started.
Straightens out. Did they get started?
Oh, yeah, they poured about 800 yards.
Really? Okay.
Concrete Friday.
Okay, good.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
And Jim, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I know we had kind of talked off the record about the drainage coming up to Front Street, like the pipe going underneath that street.
Mhm.
Has all the consideration done? I'm sure it has, but I want to be on the record that that pipe is of sufficient size to cover the drainage schools parking lot.
Yes, actually that water does not get there.
It doesn't get there.
There are 3 24-inch culverts that go underneath Front Street that intercept the water before it gets down to Dimon Lake. Looked at that before the
Perfect.
council meeting. Yeah, I looked at it. We were talking about it before the meeting.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to say about it.
Yeah, Jim and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, so.
Oh, okay.
They looked at that before the council meeting.
Good.
Brought that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to talk about the revised final plan, so you can have one motion.
So sure, the final plat, at the, I don't know, it's the last council meeting, maybe the one before, we had talked about the stormwater detention basins, making those all part of the, owned by the adjoining property owner rather than a city-owned, part. So we changed the final plat, to make those changes as recommended by the council. And then 12A and B are kind of related to all of this as well, that Warren is going to talk about. It's all kind of one big package. We are planning and zoning at 4:30 right before this meeting. Planning and zoning approved the changes to the final plat and 12A and B that Warren's going to talk about.
And they have the erosion control under, already now?
Yes, that's under control.
Okay.
Yeah, erosion control under control, yes.
That retention area wide on this, or maybe it's not.
No, it's just the
Oh.
first lot.
Lot one.
Yeah, this wide.
That Y is not, the detention basin is the bigger part of one, is where that Y is just a lot that kind of
Just an easement, as
just.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
right.
an area. Yeah, it's not a detention basin.
Was 1 and 16.
16.
And then that other one, that other one, that third one that people were wanting, we talked about.
Oh, yeah, and all.
But who's
Yeah.
responsible for the Y area? Or are we just,
Seed owns that.
so two,
It's not, it's kind of in pasture right now and it'll just stay that way. It's not, it won't be mowed or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it really fits in better with.
Do you want one motion? I mean, because
One motion
we can
for both.
just to approve the pay and the final plan, so I'll do that.
Moved by Caldwell,
Second.
second by Kirkpatrick. How do you vote? Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Thank you, please.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Council.
Forrest.
Okay. Stuart, Enterprise and Economic Development, talking. Warren. You talk about Warren?
Well, included as part of the class was the dedication to the city. That's right on the plat map because it's such a large plat. The surveyor for Veenstern County, at my suggestion, said we would make that a separate document, so you have the dedication in front of you, similar to the, almost identical to the dedication that we did for the last three phases. Currently, Seed owns the property that's being developed, and this is where we're essentially giving the streets and easements that are described in that plat to the city. They become owned by the city and the city's responsibility. So obviously we need your approval of that, so the mayor and city clerk sign that. And then also, it's not required, but with all the previous plats, we've presented the restricted covenants that we put on these lots as hopefully an enhancement. The idea behind the restricted covenants is these are additional rules above and beyond what city ordinance require to encourage people to own a nice home. Nobody wants to spend, our houses out there have been between 240 and 400,000, and probably this next go around they'll be more expensive homes, but nobody wants to sink that kind of money and fear that somebody's going to build a shack next to them and that the whole neighborhood is going to go downhill. So we put rules in place. Each rendition, we make tweaks and changes, and I'll just highlight the main ones that we come to after multiple meetings and discussions. In section 3, paragraph B, which is the second page of the covenants. On the first three phases, we required stone or brick wainscoting on the front of the house to kind of upgrade the look versus a cheaper home that might be just wrapped in vinyl all the way around. And there was a desire expressed both from homeowners and home builders that we give them more latitude, more flexibility, so it would be more variety. I think we've done a good job. It's not what I would consider a cookie cutter development. I hate it when you drive into some suburban subdivision into them, and every single house looks the same. You wonder how kids find their way home at night. But so instead of requiring that wainscoting, we're requiring that 30% of the front of the facade be some premium material. There's also a desire on the part of builders to, there's this hardy plank that looks like hardwood, and some different kind of features that you can put on the front of a house other than brick or stone to kind of step up the curb appeal a notch. And then the paragraph right below it, paragraph C, originally we required 612 pitches on everything. The reason, which is a steeper pitch. That's since I had explained it to planning and zoning, that's rise over run. It's just the slope of the roof. And the primary reason that we're wanting a steeper roof is so it looks more like a stick-built house versus you see flatter roofs on mobile homes and modular homes. And, we don't want that look. That's the desire now. Things could change, and with I know All Saints, it may even have gone back to Long Old Second. we went to allowing 412-foot pitches, which is a lower pitch roof over porches and garages, so that you can have windows on the second floor, not have them blocked by the roof on the first floor. And with this one, we're also adding, because we had a builder that wants to put in a monoslope, a single slope roof. That's now very trendy and gives your house a more modern look. The roof, the peak of the roof would be perpendicular to the street, so the slope is parallel to the front of the house. We don't want a house where the roof facing the street is a low slope, because then again we're back to that looking like a mobile home. So we're allowing a through 12 slope. Other than that, it's tweaks and adjustments. Nobody can outlet onto White Pole Road. Behind the lots between the Tibbin Way and the school practice field, the utilities, including REC, are back. The REC really wanted to be in the front, and the C board was quite adamant that we didn't want to allow that. So the REC asked, well, can you ensure that we can come down along the back as if there was an alley, instead of having to go between the houses to get to each one? So we're saying if people fence their yards, they either have to just fence up to that easement, or if they're going to fence across the easement, that they put gates in so that somebody can drive behind the house. I think those are the main changes. You know, there's always typos and adjustments here. Oh, there was one other thing. We had trouble with builders remembering, this is actually part of the city code, that the cement has to be poured separately for the sidewalk crossing the driveway, and it's deeper than the driveway. So we put that right in the covenant. So appreciate a motion to approve the
And Warren,
dedication.
I guess on this, you talked about HMO. I know Morgan and Dolly don't want to head one up, but we still have boats and campers out there. But I've got a lot more pressing issues in other parts of the town for code enforcement.
Of course.
They know when they buy it that they're not supposed to have those on the properties of the new house.
Right, but the way restricted covenants are typically work is it's a right that each homeowner acquires. It's up to them. If nobody complains, it's not an
There's been
issue.
complaints for years.
Well, they need to pursue that privately. They really should not. This is my opinion. I will tell you, Brian Belton has a different opinion.
Yeah.
But my opinion, this is a right that's personal to the homeowner. The homeowner feels strongly enough about this that it's something they can go to a magistrate or district court and have the judge say, you know, you're not going to do this anymore, or there's going to be a fine, and maybe a second time you might cool your heels in the county jail overnight. You know. So in my mind, that's a right of private action, private remedy. The city has issues that apply to all the citizens. This is really specific. And if you did have a homeowners association, then they would have the authority to enforce that. And it's something we've considered. You know, if we continue to be involved, and I think we will be, the business community is really happy with what we've accomplished so far. And I just have to say again, none of this would have happened without Eric Turner. He was really a leader on this. He believed in this when a lot of people were scoffing and didn't think it was going to go. And I just fell in line behind Eric and said, well, let's get this done. And we're really happy with how it's turned out. As we look forward, you know, there's the Tibbins had a pond there, and the plat that Vincent and Kim gave us kind of for planning purposes for the rest of that 40, because Glenda and David Tibbin and their spouses, they annexed that whole 40 acres and are very positive about the growth and development. I could conceive the lots around that pond being an HOA, and then those folks being responsible for maintaining that pond. I think that's a possibility. Another thing we're looking at is more young homeowner friendly options like townhomes, that kind of thing, possibly in that Outlaw Y. We might be looking at something a little different from just single family residence homes. But that's gonna be down the road. We've got 51 lots here. I think they'll go fast. All Saints is almost full and there's been a lot of interest expressed in these lots. Stuart's growing and tax base is growing. I think it's been good for the business. It's been good for the town.
Warren, thank you for all
Thank
the
you.
help you've done with this.
You bet, you bet.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Motion for vote.
Yes,
Moved by Caldwell. Second by Morgan. How do you vote? Patrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. Nolan?
Yes.
Caldwell?
yes.
Stuart Police Department. I feel pretty safe tonight.
Hello. I think we had the same page. I hope we're on the same page. You have the sample contract or the proposed contract in your packets. They're both identical. It's just one has the highlighted changes just so that we could see them and make sure that they were good. There was a couple changes that were requested, so I put those in. So I guess first I'd ask if there's any questions about the contractor or any of this, and then if not, I would ask that we vote on this so that we can move forward at the school board meeting to get their.
So you haven't gone back to the school board with this after the meetings that we had?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I know, I looked at it, I saw the highlights. I appreciate that because I would not have been able to find anything in there, so
Absolutely.
it stuck right out there. I definitely, for one, don't have a problem. I'll put it on there so we can discuss. I would move that we allow them to present this to the school board as it is.
I'll second it.
Moved by Caldwell, second by Kirkpatrick. How do you vote? Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes. Nolan?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, city employee wages, 24-25.
Okay, this is one of the,
Can't say what the
That's the time of the year.
what the utility is.
so, yeah, so I got a new packet, the employees that we are proposing to give increase of wages. I usually put in the budget 4%. And having that the utility met before the city and the utility gives 3%. So like I always say, and you probably had that experience with me, I would recommend that we give 4, but if you'd like to give more, I'm not gonna oppose. This is.
You're gonna be saying that at the utility meeting.
So this is really the city hall employees, economic development employees, the public works, the police, the rescues, the full-time and the permanent part-time, and the permanent part-time at the city hall. We have a good bunch of good people and they all doing a good job. If our budget will allow more, I would propose more. But I'm still on my statement. I consider 4% at the budget, and I'm sure they would like to have more if we agree. Utility gets 3%, yes.
So, okay. I don't know if any of the rest of the council watched or was up here at the utility meeting when they talked about it. And they did have one member that brought up the cost of providing the insurance, because we pay 100% right now on that. And they were kind of considering some sort of a percentage that the employees would pay. Because, you know, we raise these wages and we supply this, so is there gonna be a time when it gets a little too costly to do both? You know, and I don't know of a lot of people out there, there's probably some, don't get me wrong, that don't contribute to their healthcare coverage, you know, at some point. It's definitely not something to punish anybody, but it's just a financial thing that we have to look at this point. I know there was one year, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably wrong, actually, there was a substantial increase with the health insurance. I mean, it was, yeah, it was pretty large.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it then.
Yeah.
You know, we kept paying for the insurance 100%. So I would like us to consider, if anybody else has any thoughts, some sort of a percentage, whether it be 10, 15% of the insurance to be paid by the employees, if they so desire. If they don't want it, then they don't have to.
But this is just my opinion. I do think the insurance is one of the perks that allow people to stay. That's just kind of my opinion.
Sector that work for companies that make billions of dollars still have to pay for their health insurance. And it can be 25% in some cases. You know, we have a captive audience when it comes to collecting taxes. Nobody here in town can opt out of their taxes unless they move and go to another town where the taxes may be even higher. You know, so we need to start thinking along the lines. I'm not saying we have to do it tonight, but I want us to start thinking along the lines is how can we provide that benefit? Because we can keep going back time and time, increasing wages and giving them everything. And when will it be too much? You know, will there be a time? Hopefully we continue to grow, you know, but just keep that in mind. I understand, you know, that's a great perk. If I had that perk, it would be hard for me to leave a company. I don't have that perk in my company. You know, I pay for part of all of my insurance, health, dental, vision, what have you, so.
I don't know as far as work like Jim competition on his job, but the police, I know any one of those officers could go to the county as a first-year officer and make more than what they are now easily.
Yeah, I think if you consider that.
I agree with James that this is part of the perk to keep them here is the health insurance. I mean, this is dedication they've had.
I mean, 10% of your, if I speak for just my realm, but it's not, I mean, like you said, you don't have to go far. You know, you got to pay somebody 10,000, 10%, whatever it is, more dollars because now you need somebody else. I mean, I make more per hour at Mercy than I do here, but you know, like I said, I don't pay for insurance. What really would that cost be? And I come with a lot of details, right, when I do my stuff, and I think that should all be something to consider because, you know, if you're going to say, well, we're going to charge you guys this percentage, what increase on the backside? You know, 4% raise is great, but if you're now going to be charging me hundreds of dollars a paycheck for insurance, well, 4% isn't going to do it. You know what I mean? And so opting out of insurance is one thing. Losing your employees and having to rehire somebody who's going to be asking for more money is a very different thing. And so, I mean, and I'm not by no means making an ultimatum. I'm just saying, like, it's all things you need to consider once you start working at that. So, that's the James point. Anyway.
Yeah, I know there's been times where I've got a raise and it was eaten up by my health insurance, so I didn't get anything.
It was a wash.
You know, I mean, it's a wash, you know.
We've been talking for a while, and we will maybe at the budget time, we can discuss stuff and see what kind of budget stuff. The budget. I think the utility came to the conclusion that at a certain point we need to.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have a short.
That's fine.
Down the
Well, I
line.
just wanted to bring it up
Yeah.
so we have it.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be part of our mindset Just because of the nature of what we are, you know.
Highly appreciate it.
Yeah, we have captive people that they get raises, but they have to pay for their health care and they don't get an increase to cover that.
Your point highly appreciated, and we will
But
try to find.
as far as the raise, I don't know anybody else, I think we should mirror the utilities. They went 3%.
What did we get last year? I thought it was 4 last year.
4%.
And just to throw my 2 cents in there, I do agree with Mike that we probably should entertain something like that, but a conversation like that. But on the other hand, we need to worry about retention too, to keep employees here as well. So it's worth the conversation. For sure.
Yeah, and
I know
we
we
will
lost
manage and have.
Utility workers,
Yeah.
apply. He said he might make a lot more money out in the field than.
We will manage down the road to make a kind of conversation.
Sure.
Okay, so.
You budgeted for?
4%,
That's what we budgeted in
Yes.
January.
yes.
So, and I just suggested that we mirror the utilities on their percentage, but that's just throwing it out there.
I'll go ahead and move a motion that we give them 4% to match last year.
I'll second that.
Second by
Russell.
Russell, okay, how do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
Carl.
Thank you all, appreciate the conversation.
Okay.
I usually get the swimming pool, the same percent. So the swimming pool will
Yeah.
get 4%. Sean will be talking about his, he has an on-prem crew, if you like to talk about it. You wanna talk about your crew, the wages, we approve 4% for you and Lou.
Correct.
You have a crew you wanna talk about,
And the hourly, so then the hourly employees get, a lot of them have had their, at least in the last year, the drivers, even the paramedics and stuff, just by other means, like getting paid more hours, 100% uptime and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of stuff that has been factored in, so they won't get the cents raise that we are the 4% because over the last year, they've already gotten some substantial increases in their take home pay. I mean, some as much as 20-30%. So, I just feel that that's okay for this year to kind of ride that.
thanks.
Okay, 15, Stuart, economic development map. Right up front.
I supplied you with a letter regarding an increase in building permit. We've had an issue where some utility markers, after the builder takes possession of the utility, of the lot, the utility markers are somehow missing when their plumbers go to hook up the fresh water and wastewater. They've been calling Jim out and B&K out, and they've had to go through and help refine or relocate these utility hookups. So I spoke with Forrest and he got with Jason and come up with a plan to implement a utility marker, a restaking fee.
Yeah.
So it'd be a restaking fee of $750. It's only charged in the event that if it's needed. If they go out there and they leave the post alone, it wouldn't be needed.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm unclear on this, because I was reading this, and I was just thinking, so the city goes out and marks these first, right? And
No.
then,
No,
okay, so who marks them?
30 marked.
the general contractor that does the development, like say Macinich right now, they put in the sanitary, they put in the water, they establish the stakes.
Okay.
as to where the service ends. Those are recorded by V&K's on-site inspector. And then it's when the basement excavators come in, they end up wiping out the staking and stuff, doing the basement. Well, then when the plumber shows up, got no reference point as to where the services are even at. That's when they're either calling, well, they're calling me and I'm calling V&K to get, as built or whatever to reestablish so that they can find them even.
So who would be charged the fee? Who would pay the fee? The restaking fee?
The builder, they're the ones that are
Builder.
permit.
Okay, so if they're not the ones that cause the issue,
It's their contractor, it's their subject are causing the
Okay.
issue.
okay, so that's just where I was unclear, it's like, so we're charging them, so I don't really care if they pass it on to somebody, it's up to them to find out who's doing it.
So once they take possession of a property, it's their responsibility. Should be their responsibility.
Or I just was unclear, that's why it seemed like we were charging somebody for something they didn't do, but I get it, so, okay.
Forrest, could we stamp the curbs on that? Have we talked about that?
We haven't talked about that. We do that some places like that, some don't, where we stamp them.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, where it's at on the curb though, doesn't help you where it's out to the property, but.
Just when I worked in that field before, it was great to have the curb stamped, at least it give you a reference to, hey, I need to dig right over here. So I didn't know, and maybe we need to take that back to seed and maybe talk about it on going forward. We might stamp curbs or something too. So, at least give you a general idea. That just frees up Jim's time, V&K's time.
Right.
That's what this is kind of intended to, right? To just kind of
Hopefully that they'll
be more cognizant.
Or you can just add it to our building permit.
Warren.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The idea is that painful enough that, when they fill out the building permit, it's gonna be on their restaking fee. So, because right now it's free. Jim may lose a day and it's free for them. So, why should I care? They're gonna restake it for me anyway.
Right.
If they see it, well,
Maybe I'll be careful.
they'll be careful or they'll figure out some way to keep track of it so that they don't have to.
Yeah, we need a motion.
Second by how do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan, Dolly,
yes.
Pavlo.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Those are the city owned. Are you doing that?
Proposal to purchase city-owned property.
Yeah, Luis isn't here today.
Yeah, it's
Hiding out there in the back. So, I gave you the, link to the city web, or to the county website. There's 6 lots that I had brought to your attention last month. Okay, regarding trying to do some kind of development, trying to make those, more appealing for a potential builder to build some kind of, townhomes or something. And in general conversation at one of our events, I was conversing with Luis about it, and he has taken an interest in this lot, or at least 6 lots. And then there's also a lot on North Gaines that he's expressing an interest in.
So we've been talking about to build like townhouses in those lots, maybe start 2 and 2 in a certain time, and no basement houses, eventually slab, and I'm making like a nice like little houses for even retirement people, young people, whatever. So, and the another lot on Gate Street with my friends, we want to build a duplex for rent. So it might be once right now and later on if we can get the next lot too, so we can build another one during the months.
Now, the one on Gaines, are you willing to take the trailer down yourself or?
Yeah, we could.
Jim?
I think he's referring to the lot we already own.
Oh,
on
that you
Gaines.
already
No,
own.
but we working to get the next one too.
The trailer house too. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that way we can get, I don't know, we've been talking with the architect and see if we can make duplex or quadruplex, whatever works for us, to make a little bit more space and get more housing, whatever.
And then the history, Jim, if I'm correct, we own the lots. We sold it for $20,000 near the cemetery, and the people gave it back to us.
Correct, because they weren't going to be able to do what they wanted to do, because if there isn't an existing easement for that storm sewer that runs through there needs to be a non-buildable 20-foot easement through the center of that where that storm
Near
sewer
Norm
runs.
Halls.
Yes.
So basically one lot is not usable?
There's a storm sewer that runs,
Runs
East,
straight,
west,
yeah, but it's
right
only
through-
one lot, all six.
I'm not sure, no, it would just affect one, but I'm not
One
sure
lot, right?
which one it lays in, for
Runs
sure.
between Sherman and
And
Harlan.
Narland, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's something we need to make the blueprints and making sure that engineers and stuff makes whatever we
And
need to do.
Matt, did you look what the liens were on the one on Gaines on the trailer house? Did you check into that?
There's about $5,000 in liens.
And
Yeah,
land gain?
yeah.
And now I believe the interest he has in the lot on North Gaines
Yeah.
would be contingent upon either the city or Luis being able to
Take care of that one. If we will take the lot next to it, so we able to tear down the trailer and
Yeah.
get another one later on too.
You gotta make sure the guy's out there first. Somebody is living in the house.
Oh, it's somebody living there?
So,
But in my opinion, it'd be great near the cemetery if you'd work out with the easement.
Yeah,
For the storm
we need to see the easement and work out and see how many, if there are 6 lots and we can build only 5 houses, that'll be fine. If we can make all 6 houses and leave the easement and it's something we can make a little bit narrower on other lots, I don't know how that works, but working in something.
We'd have to have in legal writing though, because we've done this quite often. There's a lot over here, we tore a trailer house down and we sold it to a person for $1 to build the house. That didn't happen. We resold it for another $1. The house still isn't there, so we need something in writing within
Yeah.
so many years, something.
Yeah, we can make a contract and see, but I would like to, after we get it done, I'm done in all the projects I got, so I'm probably starting sooner.
Okay.
Because the weather is nice and the winter comes pretty quick, so we have to get stuff before then. But I wish I can start 3 and 3, but I probably won't. I just make it 2 by 2,
Yeah.
2 at a time.
And I would like to put it like in a contract or something, that, yes, there'd be building, there'd be movement within a year's time.
Yep.
And if, in that year's time, if something happens where you're like, this isn't gonna work for me or whatever, then the city of Stuart has that
The
ability to take it back.
take it back, yep.
And then Matt can share, we already had a bid on what the trailer house was to tear down, so you kind of roughly know.
Yeah.
But that's a contract, if you do it on your own,
Yeah, basically, yeah. If I take the trailer right now, we could, the reality, we are pretty much ready to build something. So I try to bring them and build here because they want to make, they have a little business starting with building, renting stuff. So they well, build here. So they pretty much working on the money wise and stuff.
right.
They be ready pretty soon. So if it's everything ready, they should be starting in a month or 2. So, which is good. But we leaving the trailer now there to use it like in the storage. Whenever the house is done, the duplex is done, tear it down and get it another one.
So how many lots are there, Jim, between Belva and the other one?
There would only be 2 60-foot lots there. Belva's is a 60, and then the one to the south that we own is a 60 as well.
60 by 140, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now, I'm gonna assume that he made his proposal verbal, it should be in writing, but that's fine. We will go ahead and approve to proceed with the proposal and we refer it to the city attorney to do the line, all the jazz that we want to be done.
All the terms that we're talking about up here and everything.
So we need a motion to go with that.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Second by Kavah, how do you vote? Patrick,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Dolan.
Yes.
Kavah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll work with you.
Yep.
And Matt.
And Matt, yeah, we can get the rules and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, public forum. Here.
Depends, I'm still here.
So Nick gave you the heads up that Corey, we are to a point with Corey leaving and with my pending retirement that we need to hire a licensed operator that is at least a grade 2 operator with the ability to take a grade 3 within a year, because my retirement date is going to be January 1 of 2026. So
That's not a hard date.
no, that's pretty firm. That's like a concrete out there.
Well, it's not.
So, just, I think that's the direction we need to go. So, we'll
Go
have
for
to,
it, advertise.
advertise in the proper.
And I talked to Ace today, we had a set schedule, we might have to go higher on the wages to get somebody here because we're gonna kind of be in a bind because we had Dave Melling come in for how long.
And see, we can't do that anymore simply for the fact we're a grade 3 plant. Grade 3s and grade 4s, you can't hire an operator by affidavit according to the, it has to be a employed staff member that carries that license. So,
Go for it.
just
Thanks,
so you know.
Thanks, Jim.
I just got a couple, I told Aisha that I would like to, when a new citizen from Stuart comes in, they can have a piece of paper, not online, that says about dog license, grass clipping, 2-bag limit on trash, where the compost area is, hours of that, because a lot of people said, well, I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that. I mean, yes, you can tell them a lot of things right when they first sign the papers, in one ear, out the other, that if they have that paper to take home. So I can come up with some and have Sarah, and we'll have a lot of things on the sheet to give new customers in town.
Do they still give them a welcome packet?
Yeah, that's what I said too, but our work
Used to.
is in there, we have a welcome back.
But that doesn't have all the verbiage on all their ordinances.
Well, it could be added to that welcome packet, because it used to be like a folder, didn't it, Sarah?
I know,
I
yeah.
think that chamber needs to do that.
Okay, maybe that was a chamber.
Yeah,
And the sticker program, well, I didn't know you could get $2.50 stickers for your trash.
I will work with you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Same meeting.
Thank you all.